So there we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have got Giancarlo Coppola with us. If I said that wrong, let me know. But he's killing it in the game right now. I believe he's with FFL. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's doing about $20K a month in sales all over the phone, the comfort of his home. He's going to drop some knowledge on us. I'm going to ask him some questions. Feel free to drop some questions in the chat with whatever you want to know about how you can sell successfully over the phone. And I guess we should just jump right in. So, Giancarlo, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I've never been better. Got a ton of caffeine, Diet Coke, and we're talking about insurance, my favorite thing. So let's see. I know a ton of people are probably wondering, like, did you start it at where you're at? Were you a stud to begin with? Are you a natural born salesman? What's the deal? Tell us a little bit about you.
So I started with insurance in October of 2021 at a captive agency.
About a year and a half, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half. Going to be 2 years this October.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I was with the captive agency where the leads were free. Kind of not really free. Kind of had to really pay for and really struggle.
I honestly, because I think you know this, but we came from the same thing. Free, not free, 30 to 50 point comp, 30 if you count guaranteed issue. And it's hilarious because, I hear so many people at 100, 120, 110, and they're like, man, this business is so hard. I'm like, do it with 70 point less comp. They don't know what it's like, man. But
I think my comp was my advance was 65 and my comp was 67.5.
Oh, brutal. So it's about the same. They were paying because I was getting 100% advance.
Yeah.
After I negotiated for that, but it was a hustle. So did you start over the phone or were you face to face originally?
I started after COVID. So and everything it was over Zoom. So I couldn't even do telesales.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So, were you selling advanced market at all, or was this all term, final expense? What were you doing then?
Term and whole life. I was mainly, people who kind of, sort of reached out. They reached out, but they weren't really looking for life insurance.
It was you're basically running scraped data. Just about sounds like.
Yes.
Sounds like my life. That's fun.
Yeah. Get these older people on Zoom, try and go through the whole spiel and then try and get them some life insurance.
What was the foot in the door? What was how did you get me to reach out if I'm a lead?
So basically, hey, you filled out this card, let's set up a time so we can get this free benefit out to you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. My favorite. Awesome. So,
and then we have to set up a time to meet with them on Zoom. Very hard for older people to even show up on Zoom.
Yeah. I've done some e-signatures in the house.
Yeah.
And over the phone. And that's already
a
hustle. Getting them to download and enter Zoom is probably miserable. That's why I say never do it. Unless
telesales is just the way to go.
100%. So that's another thing I want to touch on. So telesales is the way to go. Obviously, we can both agree on that. Call to close or setting appointments. This is a big debate with a ton of agents, and I know what you think. I know what I think, but I want to hear it from you.
So I personally don't think appointment setting is the best thing because once you have them on the phone, just keep talking to them. They'll say they have only 5 minutes to talk. Before you know it, you're on the phone with them for a half hour.
Oh yeah, of course.
You tell them, 5 more minutes. Before you know it, you close the deal, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I had a guy I'm sure you've had this too, but I had a guy one time where I was talking to him and he was like, "Oh, I thought this was only going to be 5 minutes," and I literally just said to him, I was just like, "Dude, I was going to be 5 minutes to see if you qualify." I was like, so if people could get all this done in 5 minutes, bro, this industry wouldn't even exist anymore. Everybody would be good to go. I'd be out of job. So I was like, did you want to learn more about that, or did you want to go ahead and cap it at the 5 minutes? I got the timer. We're at 5 minutes and 7 seconds. He's like, man, ended up buying, but whatever. So
Really, the ones who typically are in a rush, who aren't really in a rush.
they're usually scared of getting closed. That's my theory.
Yes.
That's my theory. So, okay, call to close. So let's talk a little bit about, like, obviously there's like a few key pillars of success here in telesales. So call to close is one of them. We both agree on that. One thing that I have, and I wanted to add on to what you said, is like with call to close, if you're setting appointments, you're basically calling twice as much.
Yes.
So you're calling them to call them again, which, like, it sounds stupid when you say it like that, but nobody thinks of it like that, right? Why would I call you to call you again? Like, why would I do this live just to set up another live to do a live? Like, that's just dumb. And so, not saying that you shouldn't set appointments sometimes. There are situations, but not every time. And I guess that's like kind of what you're saying as well, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I would only set appointments, like, say, if you're doing mortgage protection, you're trying to do that, like big things like that. But because I wouldn't try and close those on the first shot, because you need to kind of explain to people what mortgage protection is.
Right. Are you talking about like universal life, or are you selling term as mortgage protection?
Like term as mortgage protection.
Okay. Yeah. And that's again, different scenario. The more advanced, the more effort you're going to have to put in. Right. But like you're selling final expense or term straight up, then it's really easy to do call to close.
Yeah.
So I know that so we've talked about call to close. We've talked about a couple of things introducing you. What about like activity? Do you dial? Do the people just come to you? Are they all lay downs? What does that look like? Break it down for us.
So I start at 8 a.m. and I am dialing from 8 a.m. to about 12 or 1 p.m. Take a little break, then dialing again I start at like 3 or 4 p.m. to about 9 p.m. Kind of dialing all day.
Okay, so how many hours of that is like actual activity? Again, like quantified in hours, because like it sounds like there's an afternoon break. 8 hours, 6 hours.
I think around 8 to 12. That's 8 to 1. 8 to 1. That's 5.
Okay.
And then 4 to 9. That's
another 5.
5.
About 5.
Yeah. So about 10 hours.
10 hours a day. Okay, that's nothing crazy. I mean, but are you working 6-7 days a week, 4 or 5 days?
I'm working Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. So you're putting in about 50 hours a week, doing about $20K a month in production. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to break that down into hourly. I can't mental math it like that. But it's pretty solid, and for 50 hours a week, that's a really reasonable rate.
Yeah.
That's a really reasonable rate.
And don't get me wrong, I could be doing better. I could be making more dials, but sometimes I get a little lazy, like everyone.
Yeah, and that's another thing I actually wanted to touch on with you. So a ton of agents are like, I'm not motivated, I'm not driven, I'm not this. Like I'm just tired of making calls. I want people to come to me. One thing that I heard a long time ago that I thought was really great was like, it's not that brave people don't have fear. Bravery is literally just the willingness to take action towards the thing that gives you fear, not the lack thereof. And so it's not that you don't get tired of dials. Would you say that you get tired of dialing sometimes?
Oh, I always get tired of dials, but you kind of have to keep doing it.
Yeah. And would you say that sometimes like you get a little bit down if you hit a little bit of rejection? Like, would you agree with that?
Of course. Then I just walk away, take a little break, come back.
That's exactly what I was looking for. What's up, Break Loose Gaming? So the reason I'm like saying this is because everybody else runs into these same issues. Like you're not, and respectfully, if you're watching this, you're not special. I don't mean that in a rude way, but you're not. Like we all get frustrated. We all get pissed off. I've been in sales for years. Lee McPeak says hourly is worth $100 an hour. Yeah, somewhere in there, which is pretty solid. So couldn't get hired really in corporate America except for like C-level suite on that. So that's pretty hype. So I'm curious though, like everyone faces rejection. Everyone faces all these things. You said you walk away. Like, is that the only way that you like to deal with it? Like just take a break, get a breath out, go for a little walk or something. Like, what do you do?
I'll walk away, I'll just basically try and decompress a little bit. I won't like take the whole day off. Okay. That's honestly the way I do it. You just have to this is a mental game. This whole life insurance is mental. You have to have a good mentality to be able to understand that not everyone you call is going to answer. And there could be days that you call people and nobody answers the phone. But that doesn't mean don't dial the phone the next day.
Exactly. I've kind of equated it to fitness. If I do 100 push-ups today and I'm still not I don't look like Henry Cavill from Superman tomorrow. Shucks. Doesn't mean I should stop doing my push-ups, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so we've actually got people like breaking down the pay here, like by hour and everything in the comments. It's hilarious. Thank you guys. And so yeah, we will be doing a Q&A here at the end, but I wanted to kind of come over a few of the things that like everyone is struggling with, because like I think it's really like a lot of people will see people like Giancarlo or anybody else out here in the industry that's currently killing it, and they're just like, oh well, they're just better than me. They don't face rejection like me. They have the better lead source. There's a silver bullet I don't know about. Everybody they're all lay downs and I'm missing out. FOMO. I make dials, nobody picks up. Let's talk about dials and answer rate, because you touched on that a second ago, and I want to dive deeper into that because it's so necessary to talk about. One of the things that I hear all the time is nobody answers. How many people answer you when you call out of 100 on average?
So on average, out of 100, maybe around 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we looked at your answer rate. I think it was like 6.32 or something.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 100 people answer. Now, everyone, like I've seen a couple people that are saying they're frustrated with calls or frustrated with like dialing and everything. I want to say like 100 calls, 6 are answering. Let's think about that like just for a second. Let that set in. What are you getting out of those 6? Are you closing them? Are you getting cussed out? Does it depend? Like,
I mean, some obviously, will tell you to go see where you got to go.
Yeah.
Like I'll still call them back the next day, or I'll call them back as soon as they hang up on me. I'll just keep calling them and then I will call someone until they say they'll report me.
They'll report you?
I mean, that's the only way I'll stop calling them.
That's hilarious. So I want to like, and guys, we have the answer right here up on the screen. That's his like actual hard data from his KPIs. So 6.2 out of 100 people are answering. 0.2 people don't exist. So it's about 6 out of every 100, which is awesome. So people are telling him to kick rocks. You're facing tons of rejection. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on too. I don't want to burn the lead is another common statement here in the industry. You said that you called them until they threatened to report you.
Yeah.
How much, like, what does that look like? I hang up on you, call me. Hey, is this Julian? Or, whatever you like to say when you introduce a call. And I'm like, yeah, this is Julian. Hey, I'm calling you about the insurance, life insurance. Click. When you're going to call me right back?
I will call you right back.
What do you say in that situation for the people watching?
Hey, I believe we got disconnected.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get this request out to you that you submitted.
Awesome. So
if
then
they hang up on me again, I will call them back.
Yeah, I've gotten crazy. I've done like some I cannot confirm nor deny anything, but I've called people quite a few times in these situations. I make it a game. And I think that's another thing is like making this thing a game. What about like, okay, I hang up on you, I don't answer, right? You said you call people again and again and again. What are you doing? Like, you call me 3 days later, I pick up. Hey, who's this? Like, what do you? Same script? Do you like talk about?
I'll actually pretend we never spoke.
Great, I love that. Harder if you're face to face, but over the phone, this is gold. Like, tell us more about this. I want to hear more.
I mean, basically, if we spoke and you hung up on me and I call you back and you don't answer, I'll call you. I'll just call you back the next day, or I'll call you later, like we never spoke. Hey, this is Giancarlo. I just had a moment to get back to you on that request you submitted for the final expense protection program, and it'll be like we never spoke before.
Yeah. Okay. Are you? We got a question here in the comments. Are you dialing from different numbers if it's obvious they've blocked your main number?
So I have a CRM number and I have my personal number. So I'll dial from my CRM. If they blocked me from my CRM, I will try from my personal number, and I'll also send them a text message sometimes. But if they block both, then they'll just get some. I don't know. I don't do anything with them. If they block both, they'll get some emails.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So he does try both different numbers to clarify, and then like if they don't buy or if they block both, then they'll just get email follow-ups, and then maybe they'll unblock him. Who knows? But I'm curious. So everybody has like this. There's like two types of people I found. Like there's the telesales isn't possible, or the telesales won't work for me people. And I want to break that down a little bit and talk about like what is it that you're like. I know there's a ton of agents who are making hundreds and hundreds of dials a day and like nothing is happening. What's the difference between them and you? Because obviously you guys are doing the same amount of work, like the same amount of push-ups are happening, but you're getting the results, right? You're getting the Superman body, and they still look like the guy Peter Griffin from Family Guy. So like, what's the disconnect there? Like, what are you doing differently? Is it training? Is it?
I mean, I always do. I'm always training. I'm always practicing my script. Always making sure I don't mess up. The first 30 seconds of the call is the most important time of the call. You don't want to mess that up. If you're not getting people on the phone, try doing a Google Voice. Try switching your number, seeing if that works. A lead is a lead. I had someone that I've called about 20 times, and she finally picked up today.
Did you get her?
I did not sell her, but we're following back up a little later this week.
Okay.
The reason is she just has to figure out her bank situation because she actually does not have a bank or a credit card or a debit card.
I still don't know these
could
people.
not do anything with that. I couldn't take the cash over the phone.
No. I don't know how people still get by with that. Like, it's insane. We got another question here. Chime app. Yeah, that's a chargeback waiting to happen.
She's also 80 years old. I don't think she knows how to work her phone either. So
yeah. I love it. So we got Hannah Zada. Thanks for tuning in here for a question for Giancarlo. How many leads are you purchasing weekly?
So about a week, I would say. I generate my own leads. So about a week.
AK, thanks for showing out. We got one of our own here supporting Giancarlo. Akam Kazarian, I think that's Kazarian. I hope I said that right. I think I just went gringo, but hopefully I knocked that out of the park. Thanks for showing up, man. We appreciate the support.
Well, let's see. About a week, maybe I get about.
The questions are they're flying in. I'm curious. We're getting a ton of leads questions, so everybody thinks this. Everybody's either asking about the silver bullet, what's going on. So we've got how many leads are you doing weekly? Do you work aged leads? I'm just going to rapid fire these real quick. Let me know if you need me to go back. So how many leads are you purchasing? Do you generate leads? Are you working aged leads?
So I get maybe about 50 to 60 leads a week.
Okay. So are those generated or purchased?
Those are self-generated leads.
Okay. So self-generated leads, 50 to 60 a week, guys. And then what about aged leads? Are you doing anything with those?
I don't purchase aged leads, but I do have a lot of older leads in my CRM that I am working. They are a few months old. I still will give them a call.
So you're just violent. Like, you just go through and just call like whatever's in there.
That's honestly the best way to do it. I mean,
I agree.
If somebody put in a request, I need to help them submit their requests.
At some point, they like. This is one thing I wanted to touch on. I think you've seen this. It's in our script. Whenever you are like, I had a lady who was a 12-year-old lead, sent in 5 leads. Nobody ever came to sell her, and her dad had died. She was on a payment plan. She ended up, her husband died, getting hit by an 18-wheeler on a motorcycle. And so she knew the power of life insurance and how important it was. But because she was in like a really secluded area, nobody came out in 12 years, 5 mailers once a year. She said, I thought it was a scam. I came out, ended up talking to her, sold her, massive application. I think it was like a few thousand AP, maybe. I don't know. I remember it was $90 and 82 cents a month. This is one of the most vivid stories I remember from insurance in the field, like face-to-face. So with her, you can see clearly after 12 years, she was still willing to buy. That was the most recent mailer she had sent in. The rest of them were like even further back. So tell us more about like how you work the leads? Because you're saying you're calling everybody. You're calling like people who have been in months ago. What is that like?
If I'm working an older lead, I honestly will treat it as a new lead. I don't say, oh, you did this months ago. I will just say, you know, I'm getting back to you about this, about the final expense protection program. I don't really say, oh, you did this a few months ago. Then they're going to say, oh, I don't want it anymore. I don't really put that in their head that they did it a few months ago. I make it seem like they did it yesterday.
This is music to my ears. I've got headphones on right now. That's how hype this is. Few questions from ladies and gents here. How do you generate your leads? Facebook is the answer.
Yes.
I know this one. And then how much do you spend to generate your own leads? Let's go by week, just to break it down easier.
Okay, so it's about $450 a week.
So $450 a week on leads.
$70 a day.
Yeah, $70 a day. That's like $1,800 a month. We're talking about like almost like what is that, like 80% margins basically?
And that was me almost spending $1,800 a week. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you went from spending $1,800 a week. Were you doing the same level of production or less or more?
Probably more.
A little more production in sales?
Probably more. No, not more production in sales, more production in work.
Okay, gotcha. So more work. Were you doing the same amount or more sales, or was it less sales?
It was less sales.
So let me just clarifying here. Less sales, more work, and more on leads.
Correct.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're hearing this here from Giancarlo, like self-generating his own leads. This is, and like 60 leads a week is nothing. That's not crazy. Like that's nothing crazy. Not enough leads.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're not getting 200 leads a week. That shit gets psycho there.
It gets a little too overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. I agree. There was a time I was doing like 20 leads a day when we were doing the self-gen, like testing a ton of this stuff out, and like 20 leads a day, appointments on 15-minute rotations. I couldn't think straight. It was crazy. But Tim says we need to pump those numbers up. I think that's dude. Honestly, like if you did generate more leads, I think you would even have more success.
Oh no, yes, that's the plan.
Yeah. So guys, and obviously he's here. He's talking about scaling here as well. I'm not going to put any words in your mouth. Speak for yourself, of course. But I want to think about. There's a few other things I feel like agents are struggling with. So I already have insurance. Do you close those leads or no?
Oh, of course. I mean, I have some objections that you taught me. Regarding I have insurance. Okay, most of the people we meet with do already have insurance. I'm guessing you sent this in for the updated 2023 program. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. See, and that's smooth as butter, man. That's freaking beautiful. Got another question here. 2 more questions. They're loving this. This is awesome. I think this is super helpful. Comment below the fire emoji, or just say the word fire if you feel like Giancarlo is being helpful. If not, we'll just cut the live off. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Rich Rocks says, how do you manage your time between initial outreach calls and follow-up calls?
So I kind of mix it up. Once I finish all my new leads, if I don't get in touch with anyone, I will follow up with the older leads, but I'll also follow up with my follow-ups as well. I kind of do everything together. I don't have.
I need to clarify. What do you mean you follow up on your follow-up? That's like a matrix question. What is that?
Yeah. So I obviously have a follow-up section with the leads that want to be called back at a later month.
Mm-hmm.
In a month I'll call them back. But if I have someone who tells me they'll want me to call them back in a week, I'll call them back in a week. But I don't have a specific time that I do that.
Okay.
I just kind of do everything during my dial time. Okay.
So it's kind of just like, I think the best word here, Alex Hermosi always says violent. It just sounds violent. Like you're just going after it.
Yeah.
It's a berserker mode where you're just going in and getting after it. Matt Doyle says, I'm familiar with Facebook ads and how they work. I'm nowhere near an expert. What's the trick to make sure you get good leads but not break the bank? So first, I think there's a few like things that need to be addressed here. Yeah. First of all, Matt, I don't know how much you're paying for leads. I would love to see a comment down below. But Giancarlo, let's talk about your lead cost. What are you paying for leads currently? You said you were getting less expensive leads than before.
So currently I'm just paying about, like I said, $70 a day.
Okay, so $70 a day. So cost per lead is like, do you know off the top of your head? I don't know off the top of my head.
Cost per lead is around $5, $6.
So $5 or $6 leads. So obviously that's not breaking the bank, and he's able to scale there with a margin. Matt, I hope that answers your question. The trick is to have good ads and to understand that like you want to target an audience, not just like you don't want to speak as if you're an insurance professional reading off of a piece of paper. You want to speak as if they are understood in your statements. So the same way
You want to kind of know your script. Don't be jumbling all over the place, because then you're just practice your script when you're new, because you're just going to fail if you don't know your script.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the thing that I've noticed with Giancarlo, guys, I hope I can hype you up here for a second. I hope this isn't too much, but guys, Giancarlo, I have to give him so much credit for this. He's one of the smoothest guys I've ever heard with a script. Most people that I talk to, and are the contents of their script. I've never bought somebody's product from or The best salespeople, the 1% in the world, are always rehearsed, but it doesn't sound rehearsed. And that's when you get really, really good, is when your script is so good that like, and you know it so well that you can just spit it off the top of your head. It doesn't sound rehearsed because you can make it flow like natural conversation. If I'm like, do you guys have a marketing or lead gen course? Like nobody's buying from you from that. And I've heard this in real time from Giancarlo, because we practiced, we did a role play the other day at one of our trainings, and dude knocked it out of the park. So great stuff there. That's the best advice I think you could give anyone, is know your script. The second I think would be know your objections. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do you think?
No. That's what I was going to say if you didn't mention that. Know your objections. Objection, like I said, from the prior company, I always had to know objections and rebuttals, because I got a lot of those. So I'm very used to knowing what to say at the correct moment. Yeah,
and it's very, very simple too, because it's like whenever you go to the doctor, and I'm sure you'll agree with this. If not, please put your input in there. Everyone's learning a lot from you here. I think we're getting like fire emojis. Things are blowing up. It's getting nuts. Great job, Giancarlo. I remember when you started the program, fire emojis, heart emoji on fire. That's whoa. All right, guys, keep it down over there. Bunch of people coming out to support. Love seeing this, guys. Dylan says he's paying $1,300 a week in leads. That's crazy, he says. I've been paying 10 to 15 per lead. 510 is your lead cost to be exact. I don't know if I can still highlight this. There we go. So he's actually paying 510 a lead right now, to be exact. Bernard Gilla. Oh gosh, I can't even say that last name. Bernard says, do you guys have a lead gen or marketing course? We don't have a course that we offer to the public. We do have a 6-month program that we offer for people with daily sales trainings and eggplant emoji. All right, Bernard, I see you. It's a 6-month program where we offer like coaching, consulting, and it's basically just based around business practices. I think one of the best things is like tracking your numbers. And I want you to kind of break that down a little bit, Giancarlo. I know we've talked about tracking your numbers so much. Yeah, you're probably losing your mind on it now, but I want to hear about that. Break that down for us.
So when I first started, lead generation, I was not tracking my numbers at all. It was very bad. I did not know what was going on, how much my leads were, how much I was getting per lead. I only knew what was getting taken out of my bank account. And that really was a game changer when I started tracking them back in the beginning of May, because that's really when it kind of blew up.
Okay.
And also, I do have to add to that, besides tracking my numbers, just stick to one lead vendor. If it's your own self-generated leads or another lead vendor, just do one. Don't do 500, because you're really going to confuse yourself. I learned that from one of my managers, is always just stick to one lead vendor. Pick the best one, and that's it.
This is really good stuff. And I think I think we can kind of like Tim wanted me to ask if it's okay if we show your KPIs.
Yeah,
screen here.
sure.
Yeah, Tim, go ahead. And guys, this is just so you can see like kind of what some of the numbers that we track and like also what Giancarlo is actually doing. But I want to touch a little more on like what you were talking about a second ago, right? And so guys, before we even get any further into what we were talking about, I need to show you, and I'm gonna lose my mind here because we all get freaking rejections. Look at how much volume Giancarlo has to put in calls wise, right? And you see some days are lower than others, right? But when you're cutting down a tree, a massive tree that's 100 years old, you have to swing the axe hundreds of times before it actually falls. Doesn't mean you can't like, knock a few sticks off, pick up some firewood, but if you're going to get the mission done, it takes repetition. And so one thing I always ask is like, if I could, like Giancarlo, you don't have any problems with this, but if you're a new agent or if you're an agent who's struggling with making dials, if I told you that you could do what Giancarlo is doing and the only way for you to get there in the next 12 months was for you to make 10,000 dials and you could be doing 20K a month in production, how soon would you make that 10,000 dials? Right? Probably really soon.
Yeah.
And for me, that's how I got good at it. I sucked. I didn't sell anything in my first sales job. It was like 8 months dry. It was like Arizona desert out here. It was miserable. But
I sucked when I first started telesales. When I came over from the prior company, from doing Zoom calls to telesales, it was a mess.
If you're comfortable sharing, of course. I don't want to nag on you. How bad?
I was stumbling and like I did not know my script. I was not comfortable with my script. Me and my manager were working on my script to make sure that it was something comfortable that I understood how to use every single day. And that took about 3 to 4 weeks. It's not something that happens overnight.
This is beautiful stuff right here.
It's not, you don't just get a job and get promoted to a supervisor in the next second. Like, no, you have to put in the work and understand what you're doing.
So let's talk about that a little bit, and then I have a question for you. So you said that there was a learning curve. Let's unpack that a little bit. So you didn't just wake up, piss excellence, and breathe fire? That didn't happen?
No.
Okay. And guys, I've had my fair share of sucking, trust me. But I think the one thing that we can kind of like take away from this here, that a few nuggets that I picked up from what you were saying is like, you were practicing and using your script as a tool, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So your script is a tool and it's something that you're using every day and that you know very well and that you actually invest time into, right?
Yes.
Another thing I heard you say that was gold is that you practice with other people to refine your process. Is that right?
Yeah. I actually asked my manager the other day, would you mind if I role play with you? She goes, sure, no problem.
This was today?
No, the other day.
The other day. So you don't like, and this isn't a knock at you or anything, but I'm just saying like, you don't know everything. You don't just piss excellence and breathe fire. Like you're always growing, right?
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows everything.
Exactly.
Everyone's always learning.
Exactly. And this is the one thing I feel like we need to touch on in the, and there's a great question coming up here in a second. The one thing I want to touch on is like, we're all always learning. And I feel like there's this like, we're all sold this MLM, hype up, sign up, pillage the village, burn down the house, till the chickens come to roost, whatever the heck. We've got all these situations where people are just hyping us up about how we're going to have Lambos and McLarens and big houses and this, that, and the thirds. But like nobody talks about having to constantly invest in the skill set. And it seems more like, I'm not hearing you talk about Lambos and Raris and all this craziness. It seems like you're more focused on the process and building the skill set versus kind of like, I don't know how to put like the results. Like you're not just only outcome focused. You're also focused on the process and actually building the skill set. Is that right?
Correct. Rome was not built in a day.
This is beautiful stuff. Few questions. One question. And Bernard, we can drop a link down below where you can schedule a call with us to see if you qualify to get into the program. We only work with a select few people. I'll get into that a little bit later. But how's the persistency is what OT Mills is asking. That's what counts, he says.
I'm very persistent.
Persistency, like, I think they mean like retention on your business.
Oh, I have very good retention. obviously once in a while things will fall off.
And I
But
think we can look at the sheet here actually.
there's not really any. Since I started generating my own leads, I have had no chargebacks.
So let's scroll down here. And let's break this down because people are also going to wonder, like, are these actual deposits? Is this hype up sign up? Are you recruiting me? How do I text you to get recruited? Can I recruit you? Everybody's wondering all these little nuances. So first of all, there's a difference here, guys. We can see you're at 100-point comp if I'm correct.
It's actually 105 now, but I have to change it. It actually went up since I started doing so much more business.
Woo! So guys, look at that. You get a raise when you produce. Proud of you, Giancarlo. Keep it up. Big win for you there, my friend. So we can see here, he was at 100-point comp, producing like a monster, got a raise. Yeah, OT, I've been through chargeback hell too, man. It's a dark place to be. I know it. Oh my gosh. And so we can see here commissions, deposits, everything. This is not just written business. There's no chargebacks yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully they never come, but this is the business world. Glynis, I hope I said that right, says, what type of insurance is this? Are you selling term or final expense or both?
Final expense.
Okay.
I mean, somebody wants. So I'm just targeting burial expenses.
Okay, gotcha. And so I want to touch on this too because there's a lot of people. I hear there's two types of people. The term market is out of money because of mortgages and this, and this. That's my favorite. I love this. This is my favorite statement. And then the other statement is that all the seniors, they're all on a fixed income. They have no money. They can't buy any insurance, but you're selling them all insurance.
I mean,
so what does that look like when you get a price objection? I don't have the money. I'm on a fixed income. Like, can you kind of break that down for us?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I understand you're on a fixed income. I actually work with a lot of people who are on fixed incomes. If I lowered this about $10 to $20 less, would that become something comfortable for you?
Great. Price drop. Beautiful. And it's okay to reduce their coverage amount too, right? I mean,
I always explain to them, you can always add more later. Obviously, if you qualify, basically, let's just get you something.
Something's better than nothing.
Yes, that's what I always tell everyone. Something is better than nothing.
Exactly. It's better to have a bike than walk. Even if you can't get a car, that's okay.
Yeah.
Bike beats walking. Couple questions. Let's see here. We got 41K in profit since starting. That's freaking hype. Bob Riley says, I want the KPI tracker. We only offer that to people in the program. So some of this is IP, just heads up. But if you did want to track your numbers, you're free to do that as well. How many leads do you generate at 70 per day? He's doing 50 to 60 leads a week. So what is that, like 70 leads a day?
Maybe like 10, maybe. The max is usually, it depends. But Tim, I see Tim is going over it.
Yeah, there's some of his leads here on the left-hand column, guys. Thank you, Tim, for helping out. He's like Iron Man over here, man, with Jarvis. He's just always got it going on. He's everywhere and nowhere. It's freaking awesome. So, okay, gotcha. So we've got the lead count here. Giancarlo, I want to ask, and I think then maybe we should, guys, go ahead and drop some comments down below for what questions you have. Giancarlo's time is obviously very valuable. So we can't do this all day, but I do want to know, like, what questions you guys have. Please ask them while we have him here. He was kind enough to share his time with us, and that's so valuable. Giancarlo, while everyone's thinking up their questions and going to the keyboard warrior situation, what would you like? I'm an agent. Maybe I'm doing well. Maybe I'm struggling, or maybe I'm stuck in the lead cash flow cycle where I'm basically just buying leads to write some business, to pay my bills, to buy more leads, to write some business, to pay more bills. And I'm working for my upline, the lead vendor, and everybody else but myself. What would you recommend to me?
So if you're a new agent, obviously make sure you're with the right team. You need to have a good mentor. You need to have somebody who is willing to help you and spend the time with you and teach you. If you're not in a really good, positive environment, go find another team. I'm with my team. We all have a Zoom call. We're all on Zoom every day, all day, just either joking around, helping each other. And it's just fun. You're not working in like this little box, alone. that's really what I think, and as far as the leads, be with your mentor on Zoom unmuted so that they can help you and critique you. If you're not unmuted and if you're not letting anyone listen to you, you really don't want the help. At that point, you're just making excuses.
So, kind of some key takeaways from me from what you said so far, and then we have a question for you. So, get critiqued
Yeah.
regularly, not
Yeah.
once, regularly.
Yeah.
Okay. So get critiqued, train with other people regularly.
Yeah.
Understand basically your script, know your objections, be prepared.
Yeah.
Don't fumble. Am I missing anything? Is there anything I'm
No,
missing?
I mean,
And then stay consistent, of course, and track your numbers.
yeah, I mean, I still am unmuted when I'm on Zoom. I mean, just because I'm doing well doesn't mean I I always ask, could I have done something better? I always want to make sure I'm doing the best I could.
Yeah. I love this because it's funny. So many people, oh, I don't want to role play. I don't want to. Oh, yeah, I got my script. I got it all down. And guys, it doesn't matter if you're good, bad, or ugly, regardless of where you're at. If you are practicing consistently, you will be good at whatever you do. It doesn't matter. And it may take you more repetitions. Maybe Giancarlo picked it up faster. Maybe he was slower, but he was consistent and continued to practice. So I applaud you for that. I've got a few questions. How do you get the client's signature? Is it an email, a voice recording, a text? What are you doing for that?
I mean, a lot of the carriers are different. I know Aetna does a security question signature. America does a text signature. I actually have a bunch of videos that I put together personally with me going through the signature. So when the client is going through it, I know exactly what they're seeing, so I can give them help out.
That's good stuff. That's
You know,
really good stuff. So you're
Yeah.
actually able to walk your client through those.
Yeah, I put all these videos together for my team just so they know and I know.
Wow. I think that's huge because most of these people are older, especially for selling final expense, and text signature is ancient. Or I guess not ancient, they're ancient, and text signature is freaking Star Wars to them. So I think this is a question. This all telesales, we dial on Zoom every day. Yes, it's all telesales. If you're a face-to-face agent, though, that wants to get into telesales, I actually started in face-to-face, and now we only work with telesales agents. So it's a simple transition. I've got a couple extra questions. So say, I'm with Dave Dufour, great mentor. Hannah Zada, which carrier do you sell the most policies with? Who's your favorite?
Prosperity.
Really? I'm curious as to why. I have my own favorite.
I love Prosperity because they do have a great approval rate, and also they tell you. I love a good carrier that tells you if they're approved before you get the banking account.
Okay. So you like to know if they're going to get approved or not.
Well, of course, when somebody knows they're approved, they're gonna obviously give you their bank account.
Do you actually? Okay, so I'm curious on this then because my personal favorite's American Amicable, and you don't get approval till later. Now, you said that when they find out they're approved, they're always willing to give you banking.
Yeah.
So I've always done it the other way, right? And so I've always asked for banking before, letting them know they're approved. When you're doing this, how do you approach that? So, hey, you're approved. Cool. Now I need your banking. What does this look like in conversation?
So I kind of, oh, you're approved. I kind of hype it up, oh, you're approved. Aren't you happy? They go, oh yeah, I'm jumping up and down. Basically, I kind of make it such a big deal. Oh, I don't really see a lot of people in your situation get approved like this. So this is amazing. And then I kind of go on with the application, get their beneficiary, and then I say, okay, great. What is, I know we're using a bank for this. What bank are we using?
Okay. So you're going through, you're edging them into the water. What bank are we using? So do you go straight to just count hey, I'm with Wells Fargo. What now? What?
Okay. Then I look up the routing number. I said, okay, so I have a routing number here. If you open this and say New Jersey, is this the routing number? Can you verify that for me? They go, okay, give me 1 second. They will actually, if they say they don't have it, I said, okay, can you go get a check, or do you have the app on your phone? Okay, give me 1 second. That's fine. I'll wait. I got patience. I got all day for you.
Yeah. Okay. This is beautiful stuff right here because this is one of the biggest struggles. I have a similar approach. I do mine a little bit differently because I don't write. I've never written prosperity. I always did Royal Neighbors, and they don't tell you till the end either, unless it's declined.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll still decline you anyways, though. Freaking sucks, but whatever.
Prosperity and AIG simplified issue will tell you before you get the banking information.
Do you write a lot of AIG then too?
I do write a lot of AIG as well, but Prosperity is typically my go-to for the first.
Okay. Beautiful stuff. Let's see. We got a question. We're with the same company. Del Michael, hi. What's up, friend? Are you post-dating a lot with it being final expense fixed income?
Oh, I love this question. So when I first started Telesales, I put myself in a big hole with post-dating every single sale because I wasn't getting paid. I was just post-dating my sales. I was not getting paid. I was writing also a lot of guaranteed issue policies, so I was barely getting paid. So I kind of put myself in a big hole. If somebody tells me they can't have it go through until the 3rd, I tell them no. I'll say it needs to go through in 1 to 3 days. Then the following payment can go through on the 3rd. The company needs to know that you have this coverage and that you are covered.
This is fascinating. Tell me more. So, because I always post-dated, and then initially I was drowning in chargebacks, and then what I started doing was I would basically keep in touch with them until first payment. So, I'm curious. Tell us more about this payment. Okay, cool. I'm signing up with you. Let's play this out real quick. So I'm signing up with you. Yeah, we post-dated everything. Right. And so I was drowning in chargebacks until I literally just had to follow up with people until they did it. This is a great question, by the way, Del Michael. Phenomenal question. Let's say I'm a client. I'm on a fixed income, blah, blah, blah. My check comes in the 3rd.
Okay, that's fine. But that first payment does need to go through in 1 to 3 days, just letting you know, just so the insurance company knows and that you don't lose this coverage. We need to know that you're covered. God forbid something happens. So we're going to put this through 1 to 3 days, and then the next one will go through on the 3rd. They are adamant that it needs to go through on the 3rd. I will do it once in a while, but I don't do it as much as I used to.
How much? What are you selling your average premium size at? Are these and let's clarify here, guys, because I want to clarify this. These aren't just $10 and $20 a monthers, right?
No.
Okay, so break that down for us. What's I'm Miss Jones. I'm buying. Give me that money. You're getting me that insurance. What are you charging me a month on average? What are you seeing out there?
Around maybe 60 to 80.
So $60 to $80 a month. And guys, by the way, I found this to be the sweet spot. Roughly, you'll avoid chargebacks the most. If you get outside of 120, that's when you start to really run into chargebacks a lot. If you do that every single time, but I think 60 to 80 and then occasional higher ones for consistency is the best place to be in. So $60, $80 a month, pay on the spot. And obviously they're not throwing this on credit. So they actually do have money. The same people that you guys are hearing say, I can't afford it, actually have money in the account, and you're getting that, you're collecting that on the spot, correct?
Yeah.
This is gold, man. Great question. I'm still post-dating almost everything. It's okay, Jose. Maybe steal Giancarlo's little trick here. It sounds like it's going crazy. This is coming from the guy who has no chargeback, so I can tell you it's working. Del Michael says, I like that. Been doing really good, but I just need to get to that next level. So I'm going to sign up with Advanced Agent Marketing soon. Y'all are great. I also DM you on Insta. I don't know if you DM'd us or DM'd Giancarlo, but either way, somebody will reply, I hope. Maybe, potentially. So so great, man. This is good stuff. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy guy. Talk to me. Is there anything else that you would share with us today? Obviously you're doing very well. I want to be like you. What do I need to do? How do I get to where you are? And what does that look like for me as an agent? How do I get to where you're at?
Find a good company to work for. Don't be captive. I mean, I was captive. I was only with one company. I had to send a lot of people away, which is very upsetting because that's not really why I came into this business. You know, so becoming a broker is like a game changer. You're working with all these carriers. You could basically insure anyone up until the age of 89. So, and just have a good mindset. Always practice, have a good mindset. Don't get discouraged. I mean, it's going to happen, but don't make it ruin your next day. Make it ruin your current day, but don't get up the next day like nothing happened.
This is gold. This is gold. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we conclude our meeting today?
Does anyone have any more questions?
Giancarlo's being generous enough to give us another shot at questions, guys. Drop them down below if you want. While you guys are thinking those up, I do want to touch on something real quick here for a second. So, guys, if you are an insurance agent who's selling life insurance face-to-face or over the phone, you can apply to work with us so that you can get similar results to what Giancarlo is doing and other people that are doing the same thing in the program. We do like daily sales training for accountability. We offer everything that you need to do with generating your own leads. And as we've seen from the KPI Tracker, you can get high intent leads for low cost and not have to get bled dry by a lead vendor. So you can obviously see there's a lot of things going on. This is changing the way that business is being done in the industry. So if you guys want to learn more or apply to book a call with us to see if you can work with us, you can click the link that's going to be here in the chat in a second to try and apply with us for a call. And then we'll just go over any way that we can help you. And if we can't work with you, that's okay as well. We'll just give you some free value in hopes that you can be more successful after talking with us. So let's see. Sabian says, how are you getting policies at $60 to $80 a month? Everything I've been doing is $100 plus. First question for you, Sabian. I'm going to answer your question with a question and then let Giancarlo take over. Are you getting a ton of chargebacks? If so, please let us know. What's your retention like? And then Giancarlo, he says, how are you getting FE policies $60 to $80 a month? I'm not sure what he means, but
I'm just giving the client what they could afford. I don't give someone. I always tell someone, I'm not going to be some sleazy salesperson. I'm not here to upsell you. I'm here to make sure something's comfortable for you. Whatever's comfortable for them. I mean, if they can afford something $100 a month, I'm willing to give it to them. But that's not my average sale. My average sale is about $60 to $80 a month.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like you can sell higher. I've sold like over $200 a month policies, and they exist. They are out there. It's not that you can't sell them, but the average person in average states, that are lower income, most states aren't pulling in like Cali money and stuff on Social Security. So like most people, especially like if you're in the South, Midwest, $60 to $80 a month is going to be kind of the sweet spot there to avoid getting a ton of chargebacks. Del Michael says, I can't wait to get in with y'all. You too, Del Michael. I hope I'm saying that right. Let me know. But Hannah asks, are you running ads 7 days a week?
Yeah, my ads don't turn off.
Beautiful. So
the more they stay on, the better that Facebook will understand the algorithm of the ads. If you keep turning them on and off, you're just going to keep messing up your ad spend.
This is like the most underrated. I hope we can turn this into a short and get this distributed everywhere because people are always changing things and cutting things off. I worked with a girl that sold $800 a month premium. I told her she was crazy. What do y'all think happened? Chargebacks and roll up. I already know that answer. $800 a month.
There was another question that says, how many states am I selling in? I'm currently in 25 states.
Yeah. And that's another one. I have one last question, actually. So he's in 25 states. So I already know the answer to this, but everybody else I'm sure is wondering because Facebook can be really, really confusing and a lot of a headache. Are you running your own ads or do you have someone doing that for you?
I have someone doing it for me.
Okay. So, and then to elaborate on that a little bit, we have a Facebook professional who's managed millions of dollars in ad spend prior to working with us. So he's a stud that does this for Giancarlo. I'm sure Giancarlo could say good things about him. I've had nothing but great experiences with him. So, yeah, OT says, yeah, I told her don't sell $800 a month. Yeah. But guys, like I said earlier, if you do want to apply to book a call with us to learn more about how we'll build you a profitable internal marketing system, we also have a guarantee that you will not pay if it's not profitable. So you have zero risk. And we're not here to sell you because if we can't make you successful, then we don't want to work with you because it looks bad on us. You can click the link below to book a call. Giancarlo, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Is there any last words that you have for us before you go and change the game continuously?
No, but if anybody ever wants to reach out to me, my Instagram is my first dot my last name with an extra A at the end. And my Facebook is my first and my last name.
I was gonna say, do you want to comment that, or is there any way that we can
comment
that for us real quick if you don't mind? And while he's commenting that, guys,
here we go, Tim.
This is Instagram.
Tim put it in the chat.
Awesome, guys. So this is Giancarlo's Instagram. It's right under my where I'm pointing here. And for those of you, I'm about to let's see who's this other Tim. This guy looks like Logan Paul. This other Tim does. That's funny. Yeah, see, literally, that's Logan Paul right here. I'm telling you. But yeah, guys, so if you want to learn more about how we'll build you a profitable internal marketing system, then go ahead and click the link there to apply to work with us. Giancarlo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And guys, like I said, our goal is to help you be more successful. So if you have any questions, if you want to join our Facebook group, Insurance Agent Freedom, we post free value in there in an attempt to help you guys make more money so that we can save more agents. Now, if you are wondering what might happen if you're stuck in the lead cash flow cycle currently, or if you're not doing the right things like tracking your numbers, we just released a video with Brock Kitchen where he talks about how he ended up in $30K worth of credit card debt and he is on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, I will tell you guys as a little sneak peek, there is a comeback coming in the future, and that story is going to be amazing. So stay tuned because you will only see it on this channel, and I want to make sure that you guys know about that coming up. But guys, it's never too late if you're currently struggling, if you're currently running into headaches, whatever, stuck in the lead cash flow cycle, whatever it is that it is for you, it's never too late until it is. So guys, here's a link to that video. Check it out. And if you're not tracking your numbers currently, don't be a bum. Track your numbers. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks again, Giancarlo. We'll catch you later, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone.